Hello everyone, my name is Natasha Lawrence and today I'm going to teach you drawing to scale with Imperial. Drawing to scale means that you can reduce or enlarge an object by a certain amount. For example, you can take the real measurements of a countertop or a stove and you can reduce the measurements by using a scale. There are several steps to drawing to scale, but before we go through them, I'm going to introduce you to our scale as well as our actual measurements. For our scale today, we have 3/4 of an inch equal to 1 foot. The 3/4 of an inch is to draw, and the 1 foot is to convert. Our actual measurements are 12 feet 8 inches by 13 feet 9 inches. Our first step to drawing to scale is to convert the measurements from inches to feet. And it's important to note that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So we are going to start with our 12, and as you can see, it's already feet, so there's no need to convert. So we can go ahead with step number 2. Step number 2 is to draw by multiplying by your scale. Scale your measurement to the size of your drawing. For our 12 inches, we're going to multiply that by our scale, so 3/4 of an inch or 0.75, which is equivalent to 9. We're moving on now to our 8 inches, so we have to go back to step number 1. Again, step number 1 is to convert measurement from inches to feet. So as noted, 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, so we're going to take our 8 over 12, and we're going to divide 8 by 4, which is 2, and we're going to divide 12 by 4, which is 3. Now we are going back to step number 2, draw by multiplying by your scale. Scale your measurement to the size of your drawing. So we are taking our 2 over 3, and we're going to multiply that by our scale of 3/4 of an inch, and we get 6 over 12. Looking at our ruler here, it is clear that we cannot draw 6 over 12. So we have to find the right denominator for our 6 over 12. So we have here 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, and 1/32. So our 12 is in between our 8 and our 16, and we're always going to go back to the lower number. So it's clear that we have to have 8 as our denominator. So how do we do this? The best and easiest way is to find x. So we're going to take our 6 over 12 and we're going to have x over 8 and we're going to cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we get 48 over 12. So we are going to divide 48 over 12 and then we get 4 over 8. So we take our 9 and 4 over 8, and our final answer on this side is 9 and 4/8. We're now moving on to our other side, so we have 13 feet. Going back to our steps here, the first step is to convert measurements from inches to feet, but again, it's already in feet, so we can move on to step number 2. Step number 2, draw by multiplying by your scale. Scale your measurement to the size of your drawing. So we have our 13 feet, and we're going to multiply it by our scale, 3/4 of an inch or 0.75, which is equivalent to 9.75 or 9 3/4. Next, we're going to do our 9 inches, which means we have to go back to step number 1. Again, step number 1 is convert measurement from inches to feet. So again, 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So we're going to do 9 over 12 and divide both by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now we're going back to step number 2, draw by multiplying by your scale. Scale your measurement to the size of your drawing. So now we're taking our 3 by 4 and we're going to multiply it by our scale, which is 3 1/4, and that's equivalent to 9 over 16. So now we take our 9 3/4 and our 9 over 16, and we have to add them together. So the first thing we're going to do is separate them from the 9, just so we don't confuse ourselves. And then we have to find the lowest common denominator. So clearly here we have our lowest common denominator is 16. So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. And we end up with 21 over 16, which is an improper fraction. So we have to convert that to a mixed fraction. So we get 1 and 5 over 16. We cannot forget about our 9, so we're going to take our 9 and add it to the 1 and 5/16, and our final answer on this side is 10 and 5/16. So step number 3, write name of item to be drawn. Next to the name of the item, indicate the measurements needed for drawing and box your answer. So as you can see, we don't have a name for the item, so we're just going to write draw, and then we're going to box our answer. Our fourth step is to draw item with a ruler and label with original measurements. Normally you would draw on the same paper with your calculations, but in this case our measurements are too big to draw on the same paper, so we will be doing it on a separate sheet. So our final measurements are 9 and 4/8 by 10 and 5/16. So I'm going to draw the 9 and 4/8 first. It will not fit on one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, so I put 2 pieces of paper together so that I can fit the full measurements. So I'm going to first start by drawing 9, and then to get my 4/8, which is the same as a half, I'm going to count, So to add the 4/8, we're going to count 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. So again, so basically it's 1/2, like a half. Perfect. So now we're going to do the 10 and 5/16. So again, I'm going to measure the 10 first. And then I'm going to add my 5/16. Sorry, this way. So each line here is 1/16. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 3, 4, 5. And now I can fill in either through a dotted line to fill in each side, or I can draw a solid line. Now that we've completed our ruler measurements, the last and final step is to indicate your scale below or near your drawing. As mentioned, normally your scale would go below or near your drawing, but again, because our drawing was too big, we had to do it on a separate piece of paper. So this completes our drawing to scale lesson, and we'll just do a quick recap. For the most accurate measurements, it's very important that you follow all of the steps in drawing to scale. It's important to separate your calculations with a nice clean line just to minimize some mistakes, and also make sure that you box your answer and label it, as well as having your scale at the bottom or near your drawing, of course if it can fit on the page, and also make sure that your drawing has the original measurements. Thank you very much for watching this Drawing to Scale with Imperial lesson.